going.
Charlie and Luke, yeah.
Charlie, Luke, and Bill.
Motion?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and I'm going to turn it over to Bill and Ben and Jill.
So if if Ben Kearns and Jill,
It's the bill.
Jill Deeney would please join us.
So my name's going to change by the end of this, I know that. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're here to talk about Cape Fear Public Utilities winning of the Water Research Foundation 2024 Subscriber Impact Award. So I'd like to start out with a little bit of history. Cape Fear Public Utility Authority has been an active subscriber to the Water Research Foundation since its formation in 2008. Our involvement in Water Research Foundation work has grown to 60 staff with WRF accounts, 16 staff serving or have served on Water Research Foundation planning boards and bodies, well over 100 downloaded project resources, 52 webcasts viewed. CFPUA has been involved in 13 research projects on topics including UV, biological filtration, and of course PFAS, among others. We have 2 ongoing active research projects involving CFPUA employees participating as project advisory committee members. And this brings us directly to the honor of CFPUA being awarded the WRF 2024 Subscriber Impact Award. A little bit on the award for your knowledge. The Subscriber Impact Award honors subscribing utilities that have made notable improvements to their treatment, delivery, and/or management processes through the successful application of WRF research. The tenets of this award, as you will see, mirror our strategic plan that we have up here, and it'll be very familiar to hear these tenets and why CFPUA was the first to receive it. It is for improvements that benefit customers and/or the public, those improvements that result in cost savings and more affordable water, improvements that benefit the environment and/or sustainable development, those that result in energy savings and resource recovery, improvements that successfully implement progressive management strategies, and finally, those that successfully included organizational collaboration and/or interdisciplinary coordination, all represented in CFPUA's strategick plan. It puts us in the category of prior winners, such as Denver Water in 2023, MWRD Chicago in 22, Gwinnett County Water Resources, Hampton Roads Sanitation District, and Metro Vancouver in 2020. So we're definitely punching above our weight class. CFPUA's pioneering work on PFAS has benefited other subscribers through our contributions to and participation in WRF PFAS research. A major contributor to our winning the 2024 Subscriber Impact Award was our work on PFAS research, including the first of its kind pilot study on water treatment technologies, which began in 2017 at the Sweeney Water Treatment Plant. And this research in this treatment area continues to this very day. CFPUA is the first water and sewer utility in North Carolina to receive the WRF Subscriber Impact Award and is one of 2 award recipients in 2024, along with the Great Lakes Water Authority of Detroit, Michigan. This significant achievement is a reminder of the industry-wide importance of the cutting-edge work we have and continue to do at CFPUA with respect to PFAS and other water quality issues. Accomplishments of this nature are the result of the amazing hard work and support from dozens of employees from all disciplines within CFPUA, the vision and forward thinking of our predecessors and peers, and finally, the trust and support of our senior leadership and our board. You all are what makes CFPUA truly great, and this is as much your award as it is ours. So thank you.
I have a moment of personal privilege. I'd like to note that Jill is an assistant director in our environmental services group, and Ben is our water resources manager. They're also part of the next cohorts of leaders. So as such, I've charged them to be ambassadors to our professional agencies. So Jill is our ambassador to the American Waterworks Association nationally, and Ben is the current chair of NC1 Water, which is our state association with AWWA and WEF, the Water Environment Foundation. So I thank them very much for their service.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right, John, Julia, turning it over to the financial.
Yeah, we're going to welcome Leanne Nagasala. She's with Malden and Jenkins, our auditor. She'll do a presentation on the ACFR and the audit opinions for the year ended June 30th, 2024.
Good morning. As John said, I am Leanne Bagasala. I'm audit director at Malden and Jenkins, and this is our third year serving as Cape Fear's external auditor. So with the presentation today, I am going to give you an overview of who your engagement team is so you get familiar with the folks that have been working on the audit for the last 3 years. We're going to go over your audit opinion at the front of your financial statements, as well as your compliance opinion in the back of your financial statements, and give you an idea of the scope and procedures that we performed as part of our audit. And then there is about 2 slides of required communication that I do have to present. And then we will also go over some upcoming standards that need to be implemented. And at any time, please feel free to ask me any questions. So this slide right here depicts who Malden and Jenkins are. We are a firm that has been in the business for over 100 years. A third of our practice is governmental. We have 25 partners and directors that are specifically only work on governments. And we are in 6 states right now with 14 offices, and we are growing every year. So I served as your engagement director. That means I ultimately signed your audit opinions. Tim Lyons is our quality review partner. So every engagement that we have a second partner review the audit to make sure that we did everything that we needed to do. And he has served in that capacity for the last 2 years. And he was your the first year on the engagement, he was the actual partner of the engagement. And then Jack Woods served as your senior associate. He has been on the audit for 3 years, as well as several other team members have served on your audit. So we have provided a consistent audit team. The first audit opinion in your financial statements is where we consider internal controls and the structures of the authority for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the authority's basic financial statements, but not for the purpose of providing an opinion on the effectiveness of internal controls. Our audit was performed in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles of the United States of America, as well as government auditing standards. Our objective is to provide a reasonable but not absolute assurance that your financial statements are free of material misstatements. But ultimately, the financial statements are the responsibility of authorities management. You did receive an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that we can provide, that your financial statements present fairly in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principles of the United States of America. But our responsibility does not extend beyond the financial statements in front of you. You also received what we call a yellow book opinion, or an opinion over government auditing standards. That is where we review the authority's internal controls and compliance with laws and regulations. The report is not intended to provide an opinion on the internal controls, nor is it intended to provide a legal determination of authority's compliance with laws and regulations, but you did receive a clean audit opinion or unmodified opinion for your report of government auditing standards. As part of the audit, we did have to audit one federal program. That was the ARPA program for fiscal year 2024. So we did issue an audit opinion over the authority's federal programs in accordance with the Uniform Grant Guidance. And that report was an unmodified opinion on compliance. There was no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses noted for that. And every year we rotate the different programs that we are auditing based on a methodology. But this year we did the ARPA funds. As far as required communication, we are required to tell you certain things that happened during the audit. The first thing that we need to make sure that you're aware of is that management has selected the accounting policies that they will adhere to as the authority. Our job is to go in and make sure that those policies do not conflict with generally accepted accounting principles. We noted no policies that the authority have that contradict the standards. We do note that your policies that the authority have are in note 1 of your financial statements. And in the current year, management did early adopt GASB standard statement 103 related to financial reporting model improvements. That did change the way that your MD&A, mainly your MD&A changed, and some of the documentation in your MD&A, your management discussion and analysis at the front of your statements, as well as a little bit some changes on your financial statements themselves. They weren't significant changes though. Also to note that within your financial statements there are a lot of judgment and estimates made by management. We review those estimates in numerous ways just to make sure that they appear appropriate, and we're just letting you know that some of those estimates are actuarially determined. From a relations standpoint, we received full cooperation from management. We had no disagreements with management. As part of the audit, we do require management to sign what's called a management representation letter. That's basically saying that the information they provided to us was accurate and complete. We had no problems getting that management representation letter. We are not aware of management consulting with any other auditors or accountants. That's something that we were required to tell you if they did. And we had no significant issues that we discussed with management during the audit. There was one past audit adjustment. When I mean past audit adjustment is when we received your books and records, we did find a journal entry that could be posted to your financial statements related to GASB 87, which is leases. And for the past several years, we have passed on including that in your financial statements because we determined that it was not material to the financial statements or the users of the financial statements. And that past audit adjustment will repeat every single year. So you'll hear about it every single year. But just so you know, that actual entry is about $1.6 million, but is adding an asset to your books and a liability, and they basically net to zero. So in terms of the amount of assets that you already have, it's very, very small. Also to note that there are several pages in your financial statements that have disclosures in them that help support the financial statements. As part of our audit, we do review all disclosures to make sure that they are neutral, consistent, and provide clarity. There's also information in your, other information in your financial statements that we do review. And this slide basically says that if you intend to publish your financial statements, make sure that you include our opinions in it. And then the last item that we had up here about communication is just to let you know that Maltons and Jenkins is independent of the authority and the reporting process. This next slide is a couple advisory services that we offer in our government practice. Some of these we can offer and maintain our independence, and some we cannot maintain our independence, but this is just a list of different things that we do have a core service that can provide some extra services. From a pronouncement standpoint, we do have to implement GASB 101 next year related to compensated absences, and we will work with management to make sure that that is properly implemented in your fiscal year 2025 financial statements. And then there are a couple projects that have been going on. These slides are the exact same slides you saw last year. These standards haven't moved too much, and we have a couple years before we have to consider these. But did let you know there are some projects that are coming down the pipeline. And the last slide that we have is that for the last 15 years, we provide continuing education to our clients. If there's anyone that needs continuing education to maintain their CPA license, we do offer that as an extended service to our clients. And this just lists a couple different trainings that we do offer. And we generally do that quarterly for 8 hours. Does anybody have any questions?
All right,
Okay.
well, thank you very much for the
Thank you.
clean audit opinion, and we appreciate all the work that you guys put into it, getting our opinion. What?
Another year down.
Okey dokey. Dr. Cannon, the minutes?
We have the minutes from our last meeting in your packet, and if there's no discussion, take a motion to approve those.
Can I get a motion? Motion and a second? All those in favor say aye. All right, thank you. Any public comments? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. So we've got 3 items on the consent agenda. Any questions, comments? All right, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All right. Moving on to new business, the attorney's report.
So 2 items. The first, just a report on Senate Bill 166 regarding backflow prevention devices. That has been enacted and placed into law. Currently, we are working with Beth and her team and our communications department to help educate the public as to the ramifications of Senate Bill 166 and how it will affect them as far as their residential backflow prevention devices, future testing, and what CFPUA can and cannot do as a result of that bill. Any questions at the table?
I was actually thinking about this, I don't remember discussing this, we've talked about this issue a couple times, but what was the impetus to change this requirement, this testing requirement, do we know?
At this point in time, I do not know.
Just regulations bad?
I don't, our lobbyists do not have any insight as to from whom or the bill came.
No, I do know that statewide utilities respectfully push back on the proposed legislation out of concern that we might see more cross connections.
Cross connections, meaning?
A cross
You'd need a
connection
backflow
is a backflow. It's essentially,
backflow.
right, a contamination from the private side of a meter to the public line. But for whatever reason, the General Assembly decided that this was appropriate for North Carolina.
What we were able to do was the original version of the bill did not provide any immunity or protection from liability for utilities, and we were able to get language protecting the utilities should we follow the rules as stated and something happen, we're not liable for that under tort or any other cause of action.
And we will be communicating to our customers the change and the potential downside of the change.
Correct. And we will still be encouraging our customers to pursue testing on an annual basis. And stating that all of the law says once every 3 years, we encourage you to do it on a yearly basis. And here's the reason why.
And just for the record, can you briefly describe if we do have cross contamination, what that impact is or could potentially?
Well,
So we have it.
Cross-contamination is a low probability, high impact event. Depending on the type of contamination, if it's biological, then it could lead to illness or worse for those exposed. If it is chemical, and the last large chemical cross-contamination was in Corpus Christi, Texas, around 2015 timeframe. That resulted in a do-not-drink order for several weeks while the system was purged and cleaned. This applies to residential irrigation meters and any location where we discover a backflow preventer is needed and one is not in place. And there are some strategies that we are working on to try to minimize this impact. It is a risk management decision that used to be ours that has now been taken out of our hands and put into general statute. And we accept that guidance from our General Assembly.
And The second item, we will need to go into closed session to discuss.
Nicolette, before you move on,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
had a question. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
In summary, you're no longer required to have an annual inspection. It's gone to every 3 years, is that
For
correct?
residential irrigation needed.
And commercially?
Commercial remains every year.
I see. And we still job out all of our inspections on that, is that correct, CFPUA?
Yeah, that's actually a private activity, so we're acting as the regulatory agency in this case. I seem to remember somewhere around 10,000 backflow preventers. It's somewhere between 7 and 10,000 is what is affected here. And we have a regulatory oversight where we would normally provide annual notice that they needed to test their backflow preventer.
Right.
That's going to change, where we will be providing notice once every 3 years. But we will also be communicating that we believe that it's in the best interest of the property owner who holds liability if their backflow preventer fails and they contaminate their neighbors, for example, that it's in their best interest.
They can be liable.
Well, we can't, but the individuals can, yes.
Yes.
So
Ken,
we,
if I'm not mistaken, part of the problem with the cross-contamination is once it's contaminated, it's difficult to identify where that cross-contamination came from. Once it's in the system, it's in the system.
that is true, depending on how widespread it is. This is a hypothetical.
Yes.
And it's possible that we might not be able to identify, but it's also possible that it could be very identifiable
Yeah.
based off of a survey of devices.
Yes.
But again, it's hypothetical.
Right.
We think that the best practice is to let the property owners know what the risks are and also what their responsibilities are, and encourage them to test more than once every 3 years.
How are we going to push this out? Are we going to send out a notice with everyone's bill?
Yes, so we are working with communications on various forms of messaging in order to make sure that the message is, on our website, within bills and various other means.
Yeah, multiple communication channels, sir.
To your other point about SB 166, it's a bill that was written primarily by the Home Builders Association and dropped in the laps of our legislature and has been passed. And it's a far-reaching bill that covers a lot of regulatory codes, et cetera. And this is just one of them.
Oh, this was in that bill?
Oh, yeah, it's everything but the kitchen sink. Well, I guess you could consider this
Yes.
part of the kitchen sink.
For the toilet, as
Yeah.
it were, unfortunately.
Yes. Thank you.
And the second item, we will need to go into closed session to discuss a potential litigation item regarding City of Ashboro versus State of North Carolina.
At the end of our session.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for your attorney? Okay. Ken, Executive Director's report?
Yes, I'd like to offer up 3 informational items for your consideration. They are our key indicators report, our safety report, the environmental report, and the strategic plan update. Staff stands ready to answer any questions from those reports.
A couple of quick questions. Actually, a really good report on the key indicators. The 2 questions I had is one on the days cash on hand. It looks as though it's the lowest in 12 months. Maybe this is a question to John.
And I would like to refer that to John. We were
Yeah.
talking about it the other day.
I had a feeling.
So this is tied very much to the dozen or so projects that, on the positive side, it's money that's coming in from, the state, to us. So we're talking about things like the projects that we've partnered with the county that are funded through state appropriations. We're talking about our projects that are funded through state appropriations. We're talking about the ARPA money. We're talking about SRF loan-funded projects. So we have over a dozen of those projects now. Not all of those have kicked up, but as they've started to kick up, those come into us on a reimbursement basis. We spend the money first, and then it gets paid back, at some future point. What we're seeing is some pretty big delays on receiving those reimbursements once we've submitted them. We have 2 currently right now. One is at 131 days that we've been waiting on that money, and 105 days. 131 days on the final reimbursement for the Pump Station 14 Force Main project, which is an SRF funded project, and 105 days on the ARPA. And I'm trying to remember what the dollar amount on that was. 9 million? $8 million. So we are currently going through an exercise where we're going to be projecting out cash flow, and with some simplifying assumptions, but we're going to be looking at the spend rate on these federally funded and state funded projects that are flowing through DEQ, that we're recovering on a reimbursement basis, and plugging in some assumptions on the lag and the turnaround time for those monies to be returned to us, to kind of project out how bad this problem might get. If you'll remember too, we have Southside that's on the horizon, and we've been approved for $105 million in SRFs. So you're talking about a very high magnitude project, looking at monthly spend. When it really gets into it, maybe $15-16 million, and having to float that, for several months, while there's another month's, worth of expenditures going out the door. So we're going to be projecting that out. We've reached out to DEQ to try to get some clarity on, the turnaround times that we've been seeing. We've expressed to them, the situation. It's a good problem to have, right? That's Ken's kind of go-to phrase there, and it really is. There's a lot of money that's coming in, but the reality is that there's kind of this short-term cash flow crunch. So we're going to be making a presentation next month to you, and by then we'll have gotten some clarity from DEQ as well.
John, does this impact the payment to any of our vendors or subcontractors?
No, and so, yeah, let me I guess be clear. We're still good. It's not like we don't have any money in the bank.
Yeah.
We have tens of millions of dollars out there. This is just something that we're kind of thinking ahead. We dip below our 250 days of cash on hand, days cash on hand target. But that certainly doesn't mean that we're in any kind of imminent danger of running out of money, delaying payments to vendors, anything like that.
Great. So we're up to date with all payments.
That's right.
John and team have been keeping Nicolette and I abreast of this, and we're having personal conversations with the leadership at Diener about this challenge. 120 days is way outside the norm in terms of floating $7-8 million.
Yeah.
Our concern is not only will this possibly be very impactful as we start drawing down on more funds. As the General Assembly is meeting today, they're probably going to bring $300 to $800 million worth of aid to our stricken friends out in Western North Carolina, which will flow through the same agency. So our concern is that delay may grow. We're going to spend a lot of time in Raleigh trying to make them understand how important it is for our financial health to turn these around as quickly as possible. Look for ways to help them help us.
The ARPA money we're talking about is flowing through the state or straight from the feds?
Yep.
Through the state.
Yep. This is all flowing through the Division of Water Infrastructure.
Got it. Thanks.
Maybe collect some additional interest maybe, or?
No, sir. No, sir. This is truly about bandwidth. I have been speaking with, actually spoke with the director, and they recognize that they have a bandwidth problem in terms of maintaining staff at a sufficient level to process the work, and this is a record amount of work. They've never had this amount of money. They had $2 billion above and beyond what was brought forward in the BIL, which was about $5 billion over 5 years. So it's a wonderful time. Like John notes, I think these are good problems to have. We can't let this turn into a bad problem. We're going to have to stay on top of it.
The second question I had has to do with the new meters installations. I'm seeing, we got enough, from March, basically, we're seeing kind of a downward trend on that. Thoughts behind that? Are we looking at this point now, a slowdown in new installations? How does that impact us?
Yeah, this is certainly a slowdown. We did some analysis based on, I think, kind of the same conversation back a couple months ago. And we wanted to see if we kind of adjusted these new meter sets based on meter size, right? If it would, if it would kind of be a flat line rather than a declining line.
Right.
And it's still a declining line. And I think this is consistent with what we were seeing with the SDCs. So I think what we're seeing is a slowdown in growth in the area. We had an interesting presentation from the economist at UNCW, kind of talking about just supply and demand. Maybe there was a little bit of overbuilding, back a couple of years ago, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of a reset. And I welcome comments from Wes or Dean's here.
I would share, Dr. Muhsin Gatabi, who we rely on and a lot of folks rely on, has shared that it seems like we had a significant growth spurt just before and during the pandemic. And there's something of a reset for multiple economic indicators. We're keeping an eye on this. I do think that at least part of this is returning to the norm prior to 2019, 2018. And I also think part of it is a subtle shift between single-family housing and multifamily housing. And we're going to be doing, that's an assumption, it's actually a personal assumption. We're going to test that a little bit more over the next month or two and bring back to either the Finance Committee or Long Range Planning Committee some sensitivity analysis. I'm not personally convinced that our ERUs are well aligned in assumptions. It's not that I think that they're wrong. I'm wondering whether the actual water use in a multifamily situation is less than in standalone residential. From personal experience, I see that as a reality. So we're going to be doing a little bit of testing there, and then that may impact our projection models going forward. Because those models depend on a lot of interlaced assumptions.
Of course. At long range planning, could we do a broader window, maybe taking us back to 2019 on that? Could we have that data that would show? Right now, we just get a 12-month.
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll look at it. We'll look at this in detail. It's something that we've been wanting to work up for a while, and work up to for a while. Still working on how we might present it, and it'll either be at long range planning or at finance or both.
Part of the reason it doesn't confuse me, but a question in my mind is that we're seeing a lot of investment, especially by the county. I know it's just one part of the equation in the affordable housing range, and we are again in the third year of a 5-year commitment of putting money out there, and the investments we're making are leveraging a lot of money, and we're seeing the number of units come online just continue to go up. This information is kind of pointing the other way. And maybe it's just a timing thing that we're going to see, and of course we know we're about ready to be hit with several thousand housing units coming on board up in the north part of the county. So this just may be a temporary calm before the storm in a positive way, or sorry, don't mean to get into storms. That's all.
Yeah,
Everybody's.
and I still support that. Like, continue to see it in this
it's very similar to the funding these projects and the timeline to fund them. The regulators are so busy that, I mean, getting a water permit used to be 30 days. It's 90, maybe 120 now. And so there's a lot of things. Well, there's two things I see. One, our service area doesn't have a lot of buildable area left until we do this northern expansion of the system, which is underway. But so I think that's one thing. And then the other is everything's just behind like 3 or 4 months. And so I think it's a little bit of time. You know, I think the other thing is like when we did these projections, especially like Sidbury Road, we were looking at 20 years out. We're like 3/4 of the way through it. So there was a lot of overbuilding. There's still a ton of demand. People still want to live here. It's just taking a long time to get to the point where we're putting the meter in. And I think at some point that.
I totally agree. I mean, this lagging indicator of the lack of impact fees to the lack of meter sets in New Hanover County. You go to Brunswick County, I did a ride around yesterday. Neighborhoods, we are starting to look at where some of the big builders are, and in 30 days, from the time I drove through that place, 30 days, there's another 50 units going up. It's exploding down there. And it's not just vacant units. I mean, there are cars in the driveway, there are drapes in the windows, and front porch furniture. And the stuff that we build is a little higher end. It sells before you finish it. But at the same time, you know, not everybody is, you know, we're not going full bore because we're just kind of plugging along, but the demand out there is very high. So I don't think this is due to a lack of demand. It's a lack of product on the ground.
It'll be about 2026, 27, actually, before we will see the fruits of the labor of 2023 and 2024, the investment that the county made and this board has made in northern New Hanover County. And we recognize that the state permit review process is an impediment. So as part of the budget discussion, and it's only part of the discussion, we are going to offer some options about pursuing delegated permitting for the first time in our agency's history, where there's about 25 delegated permitted programs statewide. All of our permits go to either the Wilmington office for Diener or the Raleigh office. And some of those could come in-house, but that's going to take additional resources and additional engineers to cut some of that review time. So we're going to look at that from a business case analysis as part of the budget.
Interesting thought. Flesh out delegated permitting. Is this going to private engineers basically and pulling them into the system so that they can
That's a
review?
possibility. It'll take us probably a year after, if this board chooses to pursue it, it'd probably take us a year at least to obtain it. And one business model would be for us to have a on-call engineer that would do that review. Of course, that engineer couldn't do any other work for us. Another business model would be to bring it in-house and add staff resources and staff up. And in our hiring that we're doing for some of the positions that this board offers us in this budget, we're actually hiring with an eye towards people who are working in delegated programs, just in case. But we recognize that one of the economic tools that we have at our table is to foster growth in northern New Hanover County, to limit the rate increase, or at least the trajectory of our rate increases. And we're doing what we think we need to do and recommending what we think we need to recommend to sustain that.
This delegated permitting, could it do something to attack what Wes was just talking about, this 120-day?
Yes, it's designed directly for that.
That's absurd that it's taking that long.
And it really would help. I mean, it helped on that front, but there's a lot. It's the stuff that that we hear about a lot, like the smaller type things, like they just hold up something at the very end,
Yeah.
it gets bought. Like that's where it really would be beneficial, because it gives us, everybody, the CFPUA, who's a here, we're dealing with the issue, the ability to move that forward instead of having to wait. And it does, especially now, which is kind of unprecedented, it take the pressure off the state regulators on dealing with everything. They just be dealing with certain items. So I think it's been hugely beneficial.
And those same staff members are going to be dealing with probably $300 to $800 million worth of additional projects that'll go to the front of the line. Because people have lost entire wastewater plants, entire lift stations, entire collection systems.
Yeah.
So this is definitely on our radar as something necessary to maintain orderly growth in our community.
Well, and Ken, I think we should, like, moving forward on just having something as a information item on the future board meetings, I think we should include an update on the northern and the southern projects that are going on, just so all that is available, so that we all, because that's what's really going to be the next driver in the growth and eventually getting designs and meters set. But I think we should have something in here, just kind of give everybody an update of where that is, so there's no misinformation about those big projects.
So is there a preference to have, say, a monthly update like we would for my executive committee, just add to either the strategic plan or add a fifth report for a while that gives monthly updates on those critical projects?
It's a big deal. And the impacts of Western North Carolina are going to hit us in the way you just described. So, yeah, I think we should be tracking it.
Okay, I'll ask our clerk to make a note of that, and then we'll direct our engineering group to work up a model, and we'll introduce it at the next board meeting, and we'll refine it based off of your feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So that's it for the informational items. Are there any other items?
Nope.
Okay. Then I have an action item, and it's a request from staff to approve entry into the statewide mutual aid agreement. So as you may know from our recent correspondence, we are part of the largest mutual aid activity that our industry in North Carolina has ever undertaken. There are approximately 10 communities that are being helped right now by 10 utilities statewide. But there's perhaps another 20 that will need support. CFPUA is unusual in that we have some of the most advanced emergency management skill sets in our business by necessity, because we're out here on the coast. And we've been loaning those staff with those skills to the State Emergency Operations Center on a reoccurring basis. And I'd like to thank Beth Eckert and her team for their dedication and continuously going up and helping man that group. We also have sent 2 3-man crews out west who have now returned to us, who are helping Hendersonville, but more will probably mobilize. We're doing that under the umbrella of the NC Waterborne Agreement, which is a utility-to-utility mutual aid agreement. We've discovered, however, that we are not part of the state compact, so we can't provide aid to state agencies, or more specifically to municipalities and counties who are not part of NC Waterborne. So our request and suggestion is authorization to enter into the state compact so we can provide that aid. This is a liability shield as well as a avenue for reimbursement under a FEMA event. So our request is to allow us to execute that mutual aid agreement.
Do you need a motion? So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Okay, thanks. And we do appreciate the employees that have mobilized, gone to Henderson and come back, the ones that have been staffing the EOC now for probably 2 to 3 weeks, and recognize that that'll be several more weeks. And if we send crews back, we realize, those are volunteers from our organization, and we do appreciate, we want those employees to know that the board truly appreciates the service that they're providing on behalf of our organization. So that's very, very commendable. Thank you.
I would assume that, in light of what's happening in Western North Carolina, I'm sure that our team is thinking. I would assume that in light of what's happening in Western North Carolina, that our team is thinking about what would happen in our community if we lost our water system for months.
Yes.
Because, I mean, those folks are not going to have clean drinking water or sewer for a while. And,
Yes.
and the health impacts alone on that are going to be tremendous in that region. But having those contingency plans in place, I mean, no one could have imagined or prepared, I think, for what they're experiencing in Western North Carolina. But definitely to be thinking about what we would do, knowing that those things can happen now.
We are. This is an unprecedented event. Doesn't mean it can't happen again. City of Asheville is classified by EPA as a very large utility, more than 100,000, essentially a little bit smaller than our service area. And 80% of their customers do not have water and probably won't have water for weeks. It's the single largest water outage, and there's 20 other utilities that are in the same boat, much smaller. So we have a lot of lessons to learn. I'm speaking with leaders at the county, and I'm speaking with leaders at the city to try to understand, all right, how are the folks in Buncombe County responding, and how might we learn from that response? I've been a little bit humbled by how well New Hanover County and Wilmington have responded to their neighbors. And I'm hoping that our own activities are mirroring that response. So kudos to the county, kudos to the city for what they're doing. And they're going to bring back some lessons that we're going to have to absorb.
Madam Chair, I just think it's interesting to think back to Florence when we became an island for a number of days. And CFPUA did announce that we were within 24 hours of running out of generator fuel. And I know we took lessons from that and we made some changes, and it all falls under the umbrella of resiliency. And it's something that our organization has taken very seriously, especially since Florence. Lessons learned. But yeah, I think there are going to be some lessons coming out of Western North Carolina. And I don't think it's outside of the scope of our responsibility to make sure our ratepayers understand that if some catastrophic event were to occur, that having 2 weeks of water on hand is now considered basically a standard recommendation for anyone living on the East Coast, essentially. So, for what it's worth.
I think also for those around the table here, I know that Jonathan and Ken, you certainly know as well, that New Hanover County has sent a total of 61 employees out there in different flights and different shifts going back and forth. It's a considerable commitment, and they've had a huge impact on what's going on out there, most notably in the Emergency Operations Center. One small anecdote, when they got out there, they found that there were 3 EOCs that were in operation out there, and through the advice of our people going out there, they were able to collapse that into a single, so you had a single point of information. And they were confronted when they got there with exhausted people who were frankly siloed, and everyone thinking, didn't want to hear the new people, coming in, telling them how to manage there. And we were able to work through that, through training that we'd had, and they'll be leaving. They're coming back tomorrow, Thursday. The reports are that it is now going much more smoothly and has had a great positive impact on what's going out there. So another good thing coming from the county and our citizens.
Rob, can I ask you, as far as you know, and Jonathan as well, do we have an arrangement, emergency service, where we have connections and communication with Brunswick and Pender and our sort of neighboring counties? Is that something that, is there any sort of
we have
normal communications, just emergency preparedness?
Jessica, I don't know if we've ever, if I haven't, I will make sure and make available to anyone the Emergency Operations Center that we have here that we built as a part of this building. It's a whole other third of the square footage. It's very impressive, and so that anytime we have an event of any kind, we bring together all of our region, and there are places for everyone, including cots to sleep on, lockers, showers, so for multiple stays, if nights, if it comes to that. We are way, way better prepared than we were for 6 years, Florence. Holy crap! Yeah, 6 years ago. It is a whole new world for us. We learned a tremendous amount and have gone over and over those preparations. So the answer is yes. Now, could it be more? maybe so. And I think we're learning a lot from the experience of our people going out to Asheville and seeing what's happening out there. I mean, nobody anticipated losing water and sewer for, from what Ken was saying, months.
That's it for my reports. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Good discussion. Moving on to committee reports. The executive committee met last Wednesday. The minutes are in your packet there. Nothing to bring before the board from that meeting. Long-range planning committee?
All the planning does not meet except for.
Okay.
Finance committee met on October 2nd. The minutes are in the packet. John? The financial update?
Yeah, I'll just run through this real quickly. Now that we have the audit done, we have final numbers for FY '24 in terms of a surplus or deficit. I'll take it to this slide right here. If you can see. Okay, that's fine. Is there?
Mine died.
Oh. Which one is it? Is it this one? Anyways, so yeah, you can you can see right here. So $50 million is this is our target level of our unassigned fund balance, and you can see kind of where we were last year with the surplus, right? That was, I think, around $9 million, and we carved some of that out. We put $1 million of that out in our committed fund balance to pay our OPEB, that's our healthcare benefits due to our retirees. And then the balance of that, $8 million or so, we put out in the capital reserve for Southside to reduce the amount that we would need to borrow for Southside. This year's a different story. We're sitting here at, I think it's about $3.7 million below our $50 million mark. So what that means is during this year, the inflows, the revenues into our operating fund, so the operating side, were less than the outflows during the year. And there's a couple of reasons for that. There was some underperformance from our retail rates, water and sewer. SDCs is another big one. And then also the spending on our PAYGO funded projects out of the capital, that money is being funneled out of the operating side. And so we had kind of some of that involved too. So, oh, there it is, 3.1. It says right there. I'm sorry. I remember a 3 and I remember a 7. So 3.1. So normally we have a surplus. We call it a one-time funding source, one-time revenue. We use it to fund one-time expenditures, right? Or we use it to reduce the amount of debt, so defease debt early, to supplement our OPEB, or stick it in a capital reserve to reduce the amount that we otherwise would have borrowed, right? So with the deficit, what do? Well, one thing is we can see what this year does. We did not bake anything into the FY25 budget to bring the level of the unassigned fund balance back to the 50 million. What we're seeing so far this year is kind of a similar trend to last year. Water and sewer retail rates are looking closer, still a little bit below. We're about a quarter through the year so far. So not really too much of a concern there. SDC's still a concern. So I guess solution one, or point one, is let's do everything we can to not have that deficit get worse this year. So we're going to be looking at potential savings or areas like lab salary, different things like that we can basically carve out of the budget and maybe do some kind of reconciliation, kind of budget ordinance or budget amendment to actually reduce the budget. That's one measure. And, we'll kind of, we have a lot of time left in this year. We've got, 9 months or so. And so we'll just continue to kind of look at that. This is not the same issue as the cash flow discussion that we were having. It's related, but it's not the same. It's not the same. This is looking at inflows and outflows in a given year. And if it's exactly equal, then that $50 million, we started the year with 50, we should end the year with 50. This is just meaning that the outflows during FY24 were about $3 million less than the inflows. So we'll kind of continue to look at that, and we're going to bring a presentation next month. We're going to talk about the cash flow thing and also this deficit issue. If it's not looking like we'll be able to, kind of come back to that $50 million, we'll start having conversations about building something into future budgets, some kind of plan. Doesn't all have to be in a single year to bring us back to that 50. Now that's going to add additional pressure to rates, that we're already facing. We've been looking at 6.5. Over a number of years, and that's really driven by Southside, so that puts additional pressure on rates. Any questions there?
Once money is in committed, we can't, because a lot, when we've had the surpluses, we've moved it over to committed. Can you take it out of committed and put it back?
You certainly can.
Can you do that?
You certainly can. You certainly can. That is an option. That is an option. We kind of chose, I think, an easy candidate for that would be the OPEB. But we're looking at OPEB, what's about between $350,000 and $400,000 every year. Just as a refresher, what we do for the staff that came over at inception, so back in 2008 from the city and the county, the ILA promised them post-retirement health care benefits that they would have gotten had they stayed and retired with the city or the county, right? So we're paying a portion of their premiums, and it's the same benefit that they would have gotten, right? So that is, just FYI, it's a closed plan. It was only limited to those employees, and it's only if those employees that came over at inception actually do retire. So if they go and they find another job elsewhere, they're off the list, right? But that spend is between $350,000 and $400,000 a year. So you can kind of do the math. I think we have. Let's see. Let's go back one slide. Okay. It's this assignment right here. This 1.9. Is that the only thing that's out there? What else is unassigned? Carry for purchase orders. I think, and that was about $600,000 this past year. So there's about 1.3 that's out there. So that's about 4 years or so of paying those retirement benefits. Now, those going forward, if we didn't have anything set aside for them, we just have to start baking that into rates, right?
But you said they're in assigned, not committed. My question was, can you take that committed?
You can take it out of committed. The only category that you can't touch is the restricted. Yeah. Now, the trade-off here with the committed is Southside, right?
So you're going to pay now or later.
So, exactly. So, yeah, we're going to have those discussions next month. Let's see, run through. This is just final numbers. So you can see kind of where we're at or where we ended up at June 30th. This is the underperformance on the water and sewer retail, about $1.2 million less than where we budgeted it to be. So that's contributing to that deficit number. This is the underperformance on the SDCs. You can see quite a bit below where we planned them to be. So look at debt service coverage, kind of that long-term look, goes back obviously like a little longer than the key indicators report does. Everything's looking fine there as far as coverage. This is kind of our debt capacity, the delta between the blue line and this gray line. That's our debt capacity. one thing I did want to note here, we've been talking about the returns, our investment returns, and we've been saying for a while, so this is kind of before interest rates really crashed because of the pandemic, we were above where the NCCMT was, and that flip-flopped, okay, because we were buying investments with longer maturities at those low rates. When rates started coming back up, the NCCMT is more responsive to it because it's a very short maturity, and so it was more responsive to when the Fed started hiking rates back up, right? So now that rates have come down, we are still locked in at those relatively higher rates. The NCCMT is riding those Fed decreases very quickly because of their shorter maturities. And so you can see right here, that latest month, it's actually flip-flopped, right? Our blue line is above that orange line in the NCCMT. So I just wanted to point that out. We did include this slide, and maybe it's more appropriate to be in the report that we were just discussing on the projects in the northern part of the county, southern part of the county. But this is kind of the kind of a progress report on where we are with the consolidation. So we've appropriated currently $23,947 million for those capital projects that are part of the ILA. We have kind of moved those out to these 5 transitional projects. So it's building modifications, SCADA, and also started looking at the redundant lines under the intercoastal. And this is just kind of a status, right? We have ordered some of the components for the meter upfit, and that's reflected in that encumbrance right there, that $476,000. We haven't paid for any of those yet, but we do have those orders placed. And you last month, I believe, authorized the design build authorization for the ICW. As far as funding sources go, our state grant money for this is $16.745 million, and with the balance being funded through capital reserves, either coming over from the town at transition or recovering it over time from that rate differential, right? What we've gotten so far of that capital reserve, and it's sitting out there right now, is $3,447,000 that was, I think, received September 20th from the town. So that is something that the ILA provided for, and it's to fund these transitional projects. So the first 3 on this list, not the ICW projects. Any questions?
John, have we put any of these projects out to bid yet? To see if, hope upon hope, they may come in under what we estimated.
Matt, do you have an update?
Matt Trivett, would you join us and give us an update, please? As a reminder, Matt is an assistant director with our organization, and he has been dedicated as utility coordinator for this purpose. So this is his primary role now.
All right, thank you. And we have put RFQs out for consultants for several of the projects, and a RFQ out for the design build team for our biggest early project, which are the ICW crossings and some interconnects that will help get our water, help get more flow out to the town that we need to take their wells out of service. We have not put any construction bids out yet. That's what our consultants are going to be helping us put together. We're shooting for aggressive timelines especially with the SCADA and the meters, to get those up and running while keeping the town able to continue their operations. So we got a little bit of a challenge coordinating improvements while they are still operating, but the town's been great with accommodating us and looking at options to keep their business continuing while we're making the adjustments that we'll need to take over on September 30th next year. We're in final negotiations with consultants for the meter project and the SCADA project. We should be getting some additional engineering encumbrances for those projects here within the month, hopefully within a couple weeks. We received 3 submittals for our design build projects. We got good interest there, and our selection team is meeting tomorrow to pick our design build team, and then that will be one that we'll start seeing some larger expenditures coming up through the design build process. It'll still be a while before we get to that guaranteed maximum price. That project, we bundled several of the elements of the consolidation plan, the ICW crossing, the interconnects on the mainland to our system, and some supply improvements on the beach. Hard to say whether those prices will come in close to estimates. We'll be getting more input from our design build team. I would be hesitant to say that anything would be below. Some of the pricing that was built into these estimates was planned over the years-long process of negotiating that consolidation agreement, so may not totally capture current pricing, but we'll be using this or something similar as a mechanism to keep you informed of how we're pacing with those estimates.
Thanks.
Just as an administrative note, I think what I'd like to do is, as we get bids and we actually get pricing on these projects, I'd actually like to take budget ordinances if those the costs of those projects are above and beyond what was included as part of the engineer's report and in the appendix. That's where these numbers come from, is from the ILA, from the engineer's estimates. Rather than saying, oh, okay, our first 5 projects, right? We've eaten up like all of that 23,947, and then we're coming back and we're doing this 6th project, and it's like, well, we don't have any budget left. That might be kind of confusing to you all, I think. So I think we ought to do it kind of project by project. So if this project comes in at 4.2, let's go ahead and do a budget ordinance to increase it by $1 million. Now, just as a reminder, on paper right now, this deal is going to pay for itself between the grant funding coming in from the state and the town's cash balance coming over, right? What the concern is that, yeah, it's going to cost something more than this 23.947, right? And again, that will be funded through capital reserves from that rate differential, and at that point, it's just a matter of when that payback period is going to occur. The more that the cost exceeds this 23.947, the longer the payback. That's it. I think that's all I got.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
the Communications Committee did not meet. I don't want to say that.
Okay.
We're never on the agenda, so just want to let y'all know we do exist. We just never meet.
We'll overcome that barrier next time. Thank
Well,
you.
to that note, the HR committee's not on there either. I don't think
That's
the
right.
HR
We'll-
committee met.
We'll try to ensure that we have all the committees there, even those
The ones that
committees
didn't
don't meet very often. Sorry.
You get sustainability committee?
We were on there, but we didn't meet.
All right, any other committees I forgot? Okay, no. Any other old business to come before the board? Okay, last closing comments before we go into closed session. Please remember that we have the CFPUA employee picnic on Friday at Longleaf Park. Shelter, same place we always have it, at 1 o'clock. So please come out and join us for a time to spend with the employees. And there's a
Kapinski
lovely
has your
gift
goodies.
that if you'll see Mr. Kapinski in the back, you can pick up your, the giveaway for everybody, so. All right, with that, I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5 minutes, 10 minutes?